Hi guys, Dr. Lauren here from Vital Health Chiropractic in Lara, and this is another little segment in our 4-part mini-series on maximizing your health, your wellness, and your overall immune system, which is very, very important given all that is going on. And today I'm in a slightly different area, as you can see, to the normal office. I'm in my room because I am going to be talking all about sleep. So if you're wondering how sleep impacts on your health and well-being, then stay tuned. I'm about to go into exactly why that works and also how you can maximize your sleep. Sleep is fundamentally one of the most important things that we need in our body for it to thrive and be well. And there are a few reasons for that go further than us waking up on the wrong side of the bed and being a little bit grumpy through our day. So you see, the more good quality sleep we get within an appropriate time amount means that our body has the best opportunity to repair and to rejuvenate itself overnight. It's when our brain starts to process all the information and learning it did for that day so that it can move it into different brain areas that it becomes a learned behavior, so that when you go and do it next time, it knows exactly what happened. So it builds in brain pathways and cells. Then we have our liver and its detoxification. This is where we can break down some of the things that we may have consumed through the day that our body really needs to get rid of because they don't serve a good purpose for us, like alcohol, caffeinated drinks, different sugars, all those sorts of things. So it's an important time for muscle repair and recovery, and overall cell, hormone, I suppose nutrient utilization, but it's our hormone and cell production. I suppose it's the most important. One of the ones that is produced that I want to share with you are called cytokines. Now, what their role is that during good quality sleep, they're produced and they act like a little army in our body. And what they need to do is defend ourselves against things like bacteria or viruses or infections that enter our body. And the tricky thing is, if we're not getting enough sleep, then it starts to impact on the production of something like cytokines, which means that our immune system is suddenly not as efficient as it could otherwise be. So it's important that we get the exact right amount of sleep that our body needs for our hormones, for our cells, for our nervous system, our brain. It's basically so we can do better, be better, and just function the best we possibly can. So how much sleep is enough? Well, that varies a little bit from person to person, and there are some great guidelines from our sleep associations here in Australia that talk about our age subsets and how much is appropriate, roughly. So when we consider our newborns, they really should be sleeping more than they're awake. So it could be anywhere between that 14 and 17 hour mark within a 24-hour period. Now, as we get older, this is going to decrease and change, of course. So our school age kids are getting to be more that, arguably 11 to 14 hour mark in an ideal scenario. And then when we're getting, around 12 hours. Yeah. When we're getting into our older kids, our teenagers, this is somewhere between that 9 and 11 hour mark. And then as adults, it's around 7 to 9 hours. So there's a huge variation in, what I might need compared to the next person could be 2 hours different. So how do you know if you're getting enough? Well, one of the easiest ways is how well you wake up. Do you wake up on your own, and are you ready for your day? And when we have kids that come into the practice, it's one of the things that I'll ask them with their parents when they're not learning well or concentrating at school, or their behavior's a little bit off. How much sleep are they getting? So I'll ask these kids, who wakes you in the morning? Do you wake on your own when the sun comes up, or does it take mum or dad to wake you? And so if they're needing to be woken and they're needing to be dragged out of bed and it's hard for them to get going and they're slow to get dressed and get moving and pack their bag, well, how on earth is that kid going to concentrate well, behave well, and learn well at school. They're just not. And it's no different for us as adults. We do exactly the same things. We just have a little bit more conscious control over how well we manage and behave in and around that. And it's almost like the new black, where we would brag about how little sleep we get rather than brag about how much sleep we get. So knowing how you wake up in the morning is a really big factor in how much sleep have you had and is it enough for you. Which brings me to some of the sleep hygiene side of things. And this is more than just having a bath or shower before you get into bed, which can help to make you sleepy, but it goes a bit further. When I talk about sleep hygiene, it's what's the environment like that you're going to sleep in that might maximize on the amount of sleep you get overall. One of the biggest ones is screen time. Now, when it gets dark at night, what our body does is it starts to produce melatonin, and what melatonin does is it helps us get ready to go to sleep. It makes us tired and drowsy, and it initiates that sleep. Now, if we're exposed to bright lights in the house, we're sitting on the TV, we've also got our phone in our hand, and don't get me wrong, we've all done it. I'm guilty of this too. It's just that once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Is that it wakes us up. Our brain doesn't differentiate between outside light and the inside screen and electrical lights. So it means that in that couple of hours before bed, and I often say good time is after dinner, start dimming the lights or turning on lamps instead. Decrease the noise of the TV so that you can start to initiate the build-up of that melatonin to make you tired. Now, getting into bed is not a good time for phones, and we've all done it. It's important that you give yourself about an hour off all screens and social media, tablets, computers, TVs, all of it. We just need about an hour. Now, if you can't do an hour, at least half an hour, but an hour is optimum to help your brain wind down. So whether that's the time where you start tidying up or you get things ready for the next day or whatever it might be, read a book, it needs to be a little bit more kind of downtime, quiet time to help promote that sleep. Then we need to consider about your bed. Have you got a good mattress? Are you comfortable on your mattress? Is your pillow correctly fitted? When we do our pillow fittings in the office, we often find that people have pillows that are way too high for their body, and it just doesn't promote comfort for their neck. And so they're the people that wake up with a little bit of a stiff or sore neck, or maybe they're a little prone to kind of those morning headachy type feelings. So making sure your pillow and mattress is correct for your body is important. Then we have room temperature. A lot more people use heaters and electric blankets through the night, and as it's starting to get cold, we edge a little bit towards those. The downside is that when we're using that artificial heating, our body's own thermoregulation doesn't kick in as efficiently, so we're not regulating our own temperature properly. One really easy way to do it is to get some more blankets. So just make sure you get to snuggle up. There's something about that cozy feeling of having lots of blankets on you that's really calming. And it's no surprise now, because we're understanding more and more with children who are on the spectrum or have sensory processing disorder that they really calm and better regulate themselves with weighted blankets. So if you're not sure what weighted blankets are, they're just really heavy blankets. And so that heavy pressure through our body is really good to decrease our sympathetic nervous system, which is exactly what we're trying to do when we get away from the lights. We're decreasing our fight-flight system. So cutting the lights and then getting a nice heavy blanket or having a nice big bear hug with one of your family is a great way to help inhibit that fight-flight and get you ready for bed. So there are a few tips there to consider. Are you getting enough sleep? Because if you're not, you're going to wake tired, grumpy, your immune system's going to be lowered, you're not going to have the same cell, hormone and nervous system production that you need. So make sure you're getting enough, and then start to look at your environment and how that might be negatively impacting on how well you are sleeping overall. And if you have any more questions, then please don't hesitate to give our team a call. We'd love to help you boost your immune system and your overall wellness so that you stay fighting fit. Bye, guys.